What's up, guys? Whale Pants back at it for this, the back 9 of Red, White, and Boom, round 2. Matt Blakely, Gary Costa, Drew Gibson, Trevor Harbolt battling it out here at Belmont Park. Let's see what these guys can muster up in this back 9. They definitely want to make some moves and get after it. They start with a big one of hole 11, downhill, 534 feet. Lots of trees, lots of overhang. This is a tough one to get. There's a lot of different lines. There's sky rollers, there's low rollers, there's hyzer flips, there's hyzers. You name it, you can throw it on this hole. See what Drew decides to go with.
Roller.
He's going with that roller. I think this is actually probably one of the best plays for this hole. I threw the hyzer line and got caught up a bunch, but if you can lay down a roller, you can give yourself a really good chance to chew up a lot of this distance and even have a look, as Drew does, for a pretty good look for it too.
That's impressive.
It's a more traditional line from Gary, and that's what happens so much on this hole. You hit a tree and you realize that you still have 300 plus feet to go, and it's not where you want to be on just a simple par 3.
You didn't see a lot of birdie 2s on it, though. I mean, it's reachable with a roller or a perfect shot, but it's still just tough to get through all of that foliage right there.
Trevor getting a pretty favorable kiss off the tree, keeping him down in the fairway, chewing up some distance. Blakely with that, looked like Big Z nuke, getting sneaky. He's going to have a long jump at that one. Not sure what Drew rolled on that one to get himself up and down, to get himself all the way up there on that roll. Good shot from Gary. When you're that far away, that's how you want your up shots to be. Is just right in that range.
Trevor giving it a run. That wind, you can see it just flopping that disc around. Some of these more open holes, that was definitely more of a challenge than some of the more wooded. Yeah, getting your 3 on this, I feel like, is super important. You don't want to get anything bigger than that.
Lots going on there from Drew, and that wind, just giving it a good smooth chance so he doesn't lose too many strokes here.
Oh, my
And we were
goodness.
on the other pad when we saw this. I could not believe how that disc didn't stay in. It was
hit
insane.
so many pieces.
And Drew, no. So this is really where the discussion of baskets comes into play. Drew's had a couple. If you watch the front 10, you saw some putts that didn't really go his way, and you saw other people where their putts don't go their way. It is really, really difficult to be that confident when you don't totally trust the basket. And you can see Gary taking his frustration out.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Understandably, it was completely in the basket. It looked like the wind kind of popped it out of there too.
That was crazy. So this is where you see any player with frustration over the baskets, and that's definitely why, because it doesn't only affect just your normal putts. It affects every putt from that. Even as you saw Drew, and you've seen Blakely miss a couple shorties. Now this one is a longer hole, downhill. Again, more low ceiling. So I think the roller's a great play, but the wind was howling left to right. So you might not see too many rollers because the street and that
wire's the OB line right there.
Comes into play real close to that basket. So you definitely don't want to have anything flip up and roll too much.
I think the easiest problem on this hole is throwing it too low because of that low ceiling, but you're also throwing downhill.
And Blakely's going to show you how to play disc golf.
Beautiful.
What a
my
throw.
Gosh, that's perfect.
If you want to do disc golf things, watch
Let's do
this.
FollowFlight. That's perfect.
Cruising,
Look at that.
late turn. Is that good?
That went so fast too, just at the basket.
Great shot. I think Drew's lining up the roller here.
Yep.
That's too far inside. He's not going to be too happy with that.
There's a lot of junk over there, and that's out of bounds.
Like I said, that wind was pushing left to right, so if he wanted to play that roller, it needs to be out left a bit more. He wants that one back.
It's a risky shot for sure.
Gary throwing the roller. Try to correct. Even wider, guys. That's tough. Don't try and discredit anything these guys are doing there. That is a really difficult line to pull off, and you have that confidence that you just are going to step up and roll it and get it under the pin. So
it's a great shot, and in our practice days there was virtually no wind, so it is kind of tough to change that read when that's the shot and that's the shot, and now there's a big crosswind that changes everything. But
Trevor looking to pick up some strokes on the card here.
This is what's tricky about this hole. It might not look that guarded, but it actually is. A lot of those branches are pretty low, and even if you're right next to the basket right there, you still have some trees to contend with.
Gary making sure he makes good after the last hole where the basket decided to throw the putt back up.
That's pretty much what happened.
I know. Good putt from Trevor, getting his 3. That feels good knowing that there was a couple OBs on the hole. Drew making good for 4. And Blakely again, waiting around, getting his chance to putt.
Seen a few those drop-ins for him this round.
So, yeah, really that's a good
parking that basket.
It's on hole 13. This one has me baffled. It's a great turnover shot, a good sidearm shot. There's no hyzer lines or anything like that, but it's so easy to throw far of it. And I threw far of it whenever I thought I clubbed down. So we'll see how these guys attack it. We might, again, this left to right wind. So we'll see how they look to play it.
This is where we had the biggest wind pickup of our whole round. And the discs were going everywhere, despite throwing them very well.
Blakely throws a pretty good, smooth forehand that seemed very overstable and flexed out. And this is what I'm talking about.
Long,
Trevor probably didn't put much on that, and he's looking long in the basket. It happens so fast. Drew, I think he's got his harp. This is a straight harp in his hand. Using that wind.
Let it carry.
Get in it.
Ooh, man. That's
Drew even goes
shot.
long at the basket with a harp, so you can tell, like I said, this hole, it sneaks up on you real quick.
It's not short, but it's easy to throw long.
Gary pulls it a little bit too wide. I think that might have been an early release. Not too much trouble from there, so we'll see. Trevor definitely wants this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just a little short. And we're starting to get to that point in the round where if you've taken some bogeys and if you've missed a couple putts, that you start to think back of, oh no, I haven't gotten many holes. And especially on this course where we're looking at, like, every hole is birdieable. So you start to stress a little bit. So this is a good test of everybody's mental game of how do you stay positive and how do you keep pushing forward.
It's a different kind of golf than a lot of the big monster courses we play on tour. It does, like Eric's just saying, it tests all of the just keep playing, just keep performing, because you're missing these birdies. You're gonna miss some of them, but you have to make a lot of them. So you have to really battle through those mental side of things more than you're battling the course.
Hole 14, you have a sidearm, you have a hyzer. There's pretty much all there is to it. Basket sits nicely on this mound.
There's a tree in the way, but it's really not that in the way.
No, if you're just long of it,
sitting there.
Yeah. This is one of those, especially with this wind picking up, you can start to see these being good with your putter right now, especially on that green, is going to be crucial. Blakely hanging it out wide nicely, riding, get to the ground. Got some ground play. He'll have a headwind putt back at it, which hopefully he can make good. Drew throwing a criminal here. The disc is showing you that, oh, I'm overstable. Getting a good sit on the edge of the mound.
It's a great play.
This ground, the grass is pretty lush, so you don't see a whole lot of ground play. So when the disc does skip, you're kind of scratching your head a little bit. I like the low line here, especially from Trevor. He comes up a little bit short, but the disc isn't affected by the wind. So that's a great shot. All 4 backhands. Again, no sidearms.
I didn't see a lot of sidearms on this one.
I liked it, especially on the day, because it played into the wind.
If
so you
the
could
wind
just
was different, yeah.
So you didn't, if anything, you just had to make sure you got right. Trevor, great 2 from there.
I'd actually rather be where the other boys are, but I prefer headwind putts to tailwind putts, like a weirdo.
Weirdo.
This basket got me, though. Nubs, chains out.
Gary hits the front rim from a respectable distance, especially with this basket on the mound, because he misses.
That's not a gimme. It's raised, thrown into a headwind. It's going to be tough.
That's a huge putt from Blakely.
Yeah.
You know he feels good about picking up that, too.
Pressure putt, too, after the last couple misses.
Mm-hmm.
Good birdie
Drew
from
gets
Drew.
his 2. That's pretty typical scores when it comes to this hole, you'll see.
It's not all going to be 2s, but there should be a few.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any bogeys on this one?
I didn't, but they were out there because the basket, the wind, and everything, definitely, it can happen in an instance.
It's probably one of the least common ones to bogey, but
it happens.
It definitely happens.
All right, back at it. Hole 15. This is a pretty picturesque hole. Giant tree. There's actually some fence that's grown into the tree that's way up now, and you can see the imprint. So it's a really cool sight. But you have a big hyzer line, you have a sidearm line, and there is a straight shot. So this is a thrower's choice type hole where you're just really trying to get this thing as close to the basket as possible.
The main trouble is the tree on the right. It's kind of grabby and a low ceiling, so if you get into it, getting up to the basket is going to be a lot harder, and you probably won't have a putt at it.
Mm-hmm. We had a straight shot. Blakely gets caught up. Drew, early release. Definitely wants a little bit more height. He was throwing an EMAC Truth, I believe, there. Definitely wanted to get that up to get that glide to engage. Trevor, I think he couldn't decide between the two, and he almost goes long OB.
Inbounds, but there is a play definitely around the right side of that bushy tree.
Big high spike hyzer.
Yeah.
Especially on the day like this, it doesn't seem like the shot because the wind is pushing it down, and you have to get left, so you have to have a lot of play. I opted for the sidearm here and got a nasty roll, but converted on the putt, so it was good.
That was a good bid.
Dutch and I were talking about this one. He was like, I can't believe I didn't throw a sidearm because you just hang it out there and let the wind be your best friend. So it was interesting to see, but since we haven't seen any sidearms, I'm not surprised. Drew getting really tricky with a beautiful turnover approach there just to clean up his 3. Gary definitely wanted that one. Getting some 3s cleaned up on this hole. This is definitely a hole that you don't, another one of the holes you don't want to take 4s on, but they can happen. It can happen so fast. This is actually sloped left to right from where we're looking, so you can actually get rollaways, and you can end up top and then blow past. So cleaning up your 3 is what you want.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of 2s on this one. It just is a little more guarded than it even seems.
Yeah, especially on the day with the wind, it's not the easiest.
Yeah, it's something you want to open up on, and a lot can happen when you're throwing full power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Matt's got a substantial lead at this point. This hole's a beast. You're playing way over this like soccer field, and the wind, even in practice, if there wasn't wind anywhere else, there was a lot on this hole. So Your drive really needs to be as far as you can get it, and then you have to approach this basket uphill. Once you get up there, it's not so bad, but I believe they called this a par 4.
It's a 3.5. For the pro field, you want your 3. You're not getting many 2s on this hole. The hard part is if you get left, like you're going to see, it's so easy to do. You end up with this low ceiling, and Drew going with trying to smash on a cut roller. It's not too bad. Getting into the shade gives you a chance. It's not, like I said, he's on that left side where he wanted to avoid anyways, but you just start scrambling. And
that drive, I mean, it is about placement, but it really is about just chewing up as much of that ground in that field as you can, getting up there as far as you can.
Trevor puts a mash on this to the other tee pad.
Almost hits everybody on 17.
That's a bomb right there, and he should have a pretty routine up and down, even though that tree does come into play. Gary, doing what most players would do is throw something flat, and then the wind was just pushing on it, but he put a big move on that, so he's going to feel comfortable getting up and down from there. He's just got to scramble.
So yeah, there's that difficulty with the low ceiling there. Drew's got no problem with it, but throwing uphill with a low ceiling is always a interesting challenge. Is he in the same spot?
Yeah, Matt and Drew looked like they ended up in the same spot.
Hanging out.
Similar results. They both have downhill putts to this basket.
Should have easy 3s on this.
Yep.
Oh.
Gary gets a go slim. It was like Casper,
right
the not friendly ghost.
Casper. I love Casper.
This is what we're talking about. It's just you kind of go into scramble mode after your drive here to get yourself up and down.
The FPO field, it's definitely a little more challenging. Getting across that field in one drive isn't quite, unless you're Paige, it's a little bit harder to do. So it's kind of a challenging 4. Matt misses another one.
That's a little bit bigger of a putt, especially on the downhill, the wind. There's a lot there.
Oh, there's plenty of factors.
Cleans up. That's what you got to do, especially after those misses.
As long as you can get those comeback putts with authority, that's how it's played. Drew's got a branch right in front of him. I think that's why he's got that straddle. That was a good save.
Yeah, but Drew does like to show off, so he might have just been straddling anyways.
Just for fun. Thing is, like, Matt's been playing so solid, even having a couple here and there. He's a great golfer.
So, hole 17 is uphill the whole way. There's a flex line. There is a big hyzer line that people have talked to me about, but I really like the roller line if you can get it up there. There's a sidearm line. It's another one of those. It's just a good disc golf hole. It's very tough, low ceiling. A good shot is well rewarded, and it's kind of what you're hoping for. Drew opting for the sidearm here.
Is this the first sidearm we've seen him throw this round?
Maybe, and that looks like a great line. But with this uphill, you're not going to get a whole lot of action right like he would have wanted. But, man, as far as this shot goes, that's a great shot. Trevor going the low route. And this was such a hard route with this wind.
It is tough.
It definitely makes the shot so difficult to throw. But Trevor puts a good move that he'll have a putt on.
He got some lift on his.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Getting up there. He's got to look.
That's a good shot. They're all getting putts on it at least. You saw a lot of people turning over into the bush on the right, just trying to overpower it a little bit. There's that roller. Come on.
See, this is one of those rollers, though, that you have to get it laid down because it's the same thing as an air shot. On these uphills, you don't have a whole lot of action like you normally do when you have a lot of air underneath it. And they die out. So you actually almost throw the roller straight at the basket and just let it fall down, hopefully within good space to make a putt.
Does that OB over there apply to this hole too?
Yes, it does. So it makes the hole a little bit more challenging when you have some OB from other holes. Drew's going to be...
Lots of air into that one.
Not too happy about that.
It was a long putt, but...
Ew. Drew being a good
Thumbs
sport
up
about
from
it.
Drew. He's such a good guy.
Blakely misses a putt from short again. Strong side. Gary showing that this basket actually does catch putts. So
Oh, man.
sometimes there's a curse on these baskets where you don't think anything will catch, especially after watching two players get somewhat punished.
That's one of the hardest things is watching someone miss or get spit out and keeping your confidence up knowing that it's going to catch yours.
Mm-hmm.
Just trusting it. $18. This hole's really cool. They've got OB all along that right side and also on the left side. It kind of makes a little triangle where that big tree is, and I guess it's long, but I didn't see anybody going long here. This one's reachable. It's downhill. You really just have to throw something stable and hope it stays in bounds.
Hang it out wide, get it up in the air if you can, or you go with this more lower penetrating line, but that wind was being a big old bully to Trevor's disc there, so he's a little shorter than he'd like to be, but this is one of those shots that can give it some airspace and give yourself a good chance.
The only thing scary about the air is that it's a little bit easier to go out of bounds the higher up you are. That could have easily gone OB left, but
Gary's going to be happy with that kick.
That's a fine spot.
Blakely early releases this one. This one's looking like it's headed to the OB.
Yeah.
Didn't make it back in, so he'll be throwing back there. Hopefully just get up, get down. Let's move on from the hole. Drew with that criminal again. This is why this disc is so good. It's just overstable the whole time, and it actually gets some love through the tree.
Some risky shots here.
Yeah. After that last hole, Drew deserves some good love. Blakely giving it a chance. Great bid.
That was a great run. That's pretty far away from where he was. Get in.
Trevor just can't understand why nothing's falling. And that's how it is, especially when these baskets seem like they're never going to catch anything. You just have to stay to the course. Stay with your putt. They're not bad putts. I had a caddy on the day, Brad Howard, who filled me with total confidence. He's like, even when I miss putts and they spat out, he told me they were good.
Wow.
Yes, Drew.
That's a huge putt.
It's a great two.
Beautiful. And it stayed in. Woo!
See, and that's a testament to it. Where if you just stay with your putt,
strong, trust it.
They're gonna fall. And even if they don't, guess what? You get to play another round. You get to play another tournament, and they will fall then. And that's why we keep playing. Blakely just making sure he makes good. Doesn't leave too much for this last hole, so he can just. Move on and finish strong.
Last hole, 19. This one's a little tricky. That wire on the right side in the parking lot plays out of bounds.
And hole 2's OB on the left side.
Yeah, the OB on the left side from hole 2 also is in play here. And that little flower box you see right in front of us now is out of bounds. And we actually saw it go in there a few times and not come out. So it's a silly OB stroke, but
the basket's almost blind on this hole.
You can't really see it.
You can't. And you throw this shot. You throw a good hyzer, give yourself a putt. You can go a little bit straighter if you want and come around the right side of that bush.
You're just messing with the
but
OB a little bit more.
You flirt with that OB, and
if you hit something and stay out, it's
total bummer.
Total bummer.
So right now we're seeing some pretty
great shots.
Awesome.
They're making this look really easy. I promise you, it's not that easy.
and I mean, they're all going to have tester putts, but I mean, you want a tester putt here. This is not an easy hole to just park or get a 2 every single time. You're trying to throw a good smooth hyzer and just say, hey, I want whatever look I get, and I want to make sure that I make good.
Well played, guys. That was impressive. They really made it look like this hole is the easiest thing.
It's a good line from Trevor. That basket being raised made that putt a lot harder than it needed to be. So Bang, bang, Gary. That's a way to finish the tournament. Hats off, buddy. That was a great putt.
That is a huge putt.
If that doesn't mean any confidence, I mean, since the round's over, that's going to be confidence going to his next tournament that he ended real strong. Drew to put some pressure on Blakely. Makes it. 2 putts to finish. Great stuff from Drew Gibson. 2 putts to finish.
That's what we like to see.
It's a way to represent Drew.
Those raised baskets, too. I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but it really does make a difference.
Blakely for the win. Get in there, dude. Some spits earlier. He makes good and takes it down.
By a stroke?
By 2 strokes. Nobody really shredded on this day. It was a very weird day. Everybody kind of had the same putting woes. The wind picked up with these not the best baskets, so you definitely didn't need to shoot that great to take it down, but Blakely stayed solid enough. He had a lot of good bonus holes and gets Drew by 2 sticks. And we see Dutch coming from the second card and Ty and Drew. I moved up as well.
Oakley over here.
Who's that? And then a huge tie for 103. But yeah, these guys battled it out really hard. So big thanks to our sponsors, Booom and Dynamic Disc. They sponsored the tournament, so it was great to be at this event. Thanks to all the spectators, all to the media people. Bang, Gary, that was a great putt. Thanks to everything that happened at this tournament. It was such a great time. Dayton is an awesome place, so if you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out.
Do it.
Yeah, big thanks to Jomez. Keep watching their stuff. They're some of the best people when it comes to media. So yeah, catch you guys next time. Check out Whale Pants.
Whale Pants out.
Out.